want you to hit me as hard as you can.
We'll tear your soul apart.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Now the dream is over. It's acted away.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Talking Movies. My name is Josh.
I'm Clay.
I'm Chris.
And this is a podcast where we talk about movies. This was my pick this week, which was the sequel to the original 1960 Psycho, Psycho 2.
She'll kill you. I know she will. No, I won't do that. You can't make me kill her.
22 years later, Norman Bates is home. Psycho 2.
Randy is going to be joining us in the next 15 to 20 minutes, probably. We're waiting on him, but so he will jump in at some point. But it's getting late. We all have families, so we're getting started so we can, get off at a reasonable time.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we start talking about Psycho 2, it's a sequel. So let's just talk about all our relationships to the original quickly. I'll start myself. I probably saw the first one maybe 10 years ago and hadn't really seen it since. Liked it. I mean, I think when I was, becoming a film guy, I bought like a Hitchcock box set and started and watched a whole bunch of his movies. And this is, of course, the classic, probably his biggest movie. And I remember liking it quite a bit, but not being like blown away by it. And then I hadn't watched it again till I watched it, a few nights ago. And it really hit me differently. Maybe because I wonder if it's because just I'm more film literate now. I've seen a lot more horror now. 10 years ago, I wasn't really even a horror guy. So seeing how this movie sort of is like the original slasher, the original murder, one of the original murder mysteries. I just saw it through a different lens and definitely recognize its influence quite a bit more. Chris, what about you?
Yeah, I'd seen it a while ago too. Yeah, probably 10, 15 years ago, something like that. Yeah, when I haven't, same situation, haven't seen a ton of horror movies, but I was getting into stuff and I watched the original Halloween and, other things. And this was like the old movie. I'll go watch, the old movie. And yeah, I mean, I liked it back then, but yeah, like you said, didn't love it or, I mean, understand its place in history, I guess.
Yeah.
And I've seen a few more Hitchcocks since, and I really love Vertigo. I think that's his best movie. Still do. So I liked Psycho a good bit. I won't say I loved it, but
yeah.
I mean it's definitely a great movie, and of course has tons of historical significance.
Yeah. I think it feels way modern for its time, though. Like watching it this last time, I was like, if you watch other 50s and early 60s movies, they don't feel like that movie. It's a very modern feeling movie for its time, I think.
Yeah, it holds up really, really well.
Yeah, I watched it with my son this time too. Didn't force him to watch it or anything. I was like, hey, I'm gonna put this on. It's a classic. It's Alfred Hitchcock. I know you've heard that name. Not gonna twist your arm, but you might want to sit down and watch this. And he sat down and watched the whole thing, and was asking questions. And when Marion Crane dies, like 40 minutes into the movie, he's like, what? Like he had the proper response. Like he was like, the main character just died. Well, what happens now? So that was pretty cool, because that twist to most of us has, been spoiled before we ever got to even see the movie.
And I really like movies that do that. Just kind of pull you in and get you feeling for this character, and then nope, they're gone.
Totally.
Game of Thrones it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I really like
They're
that.
dead.
Yeah, I mean, Scream does that to the most extreme degree.
Yeah.
But it's just cool. It's like watching Empire Strikes Back with someone that doesn't know that Vader is Luke's father. It's just like how do you not know this?
Right.
I actually had that experience with a friend. He had never seen any of the Star Warses, and we watched them, and he was like, "Wait, he's lying, right?" Like, no, everyone knows this already, buddy.
Not a surprise to the rest of the world,
right? What about you?
I saw this early on. It was a Channel 16 special. I know I always talk about Channel 16, but when I was young, there were only 4 channels on regular TV. ABC, NBC, CBS, and Channel 16. And Channel 16 was like the edgy, like, 21 Jump Streets on there, and Unsolved Mysteries, and Highway Patrol, and what's the one with Adam Walsh's dad, America's Most Wanted. They had like some edgy kind of shows on there. And after all that crap was on, they'd play like the late night Saturday night horror movies until like 2 a.m. or something. And I watched a bunch of stuff on there. I want to say I watched Psycho first with my dad, and my mom was like, "Ooh, Psycho." She loved Hitchcock, loves Hitchcock. And she was really boosting up the shower scene. And so when I saw it, I was just like, that's it. Like, Freddy Krueger kills. Like, but man, I watched this movie, and it opens with the shower scene, and I watched it with my friend, and she was like, "Oh, the chunky blood in the tub always used to gross me out." And I was like, "Huh?" And then I noticed like these big chunky, like clotty type, blood drops hitting the tub floor in the water. And I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of gnarly." Like, even though you don't see the actual knife going in. And then, like, to your point, it was kind of modern in the fact that I think it showed a lot of skin for the time. Like, even through the shower curtain, which was kind of, it was kind of opaque or whatever. You could see through it, but not well enough. She was naked in there. And I think that at the time, it was like, kind of like, whoa, that chick is naked on screen, and then she gets killed brutally. So, you have the conflicting emotions that hit you. Probably back in the day, that was like pretty edgy. Like, oh, you're kind of aroused, and then somebody dies, right? Oh, that sucks. But
yeah.
So Hitchcock was good at playing with emotions, and that's what I've always liked about his movies. I would say Rear Window is my favorite Hitchcock. I've never really made it all the way through Vertigo. I need to, but man, you have to be in the mood for it. I feel like, because it builds until there's like the delivery, right, and and then it really lets loose normally to like the last 30 minutes of the movie. And so Rear Window is kind of that way to me, where a guy's just sort of sitting at home in his apartment complex. And I love the feel of the New York apartment vibe, right? He's looking across the way at the other apartments, and it's like a whole community. There's like all these different kind of frames of life taking place at multiple, at the same time, but from like, he could just sit there and people watch. And I love to people watch. So he's watching all these different lives kind of unfold right in front of his eyes. But he's not even watching TV. He's just watching his neighbors. And then he sees a woman get murdered. So, there again, Hitchcock kind of lulls you into this sense of comfort. And then all of a sudden, there's murder or abuse. And, he's good at playing with emotions. I've always loved the guy. I thought he was pretty amazing, like early on, but you start to learn about his backstory and how he was, kind of mildly abusive and didn't really handle things in a great way in a lot of respects. So, unfortunately, there's always like the great minds are somewhat twisted in real life. And I don't think Hitchcock was immune to that. So
totally, yeah. There's like I mean, I think one of the reasons he's great is because there is an underlying like perversity to his work. Like he is being as edgy as he possibly can for the time he was made. Like when you watch Brian De Palma movies, like like Dress to Kill or Body Double, those are Hitchcock movies in the 80s when you can be as raunchy and violent as Hitchcock would have been if he had started in that time.
I never thought about that. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, they're erotic thrillers, but they're essentially Hitchcock movies, just taken to that nth degree.
But I think like this is good for like you said, it's relevant today. And then when I initially watched it, I was not impressed. Psycho 1, and then when I've seen it since then, I've been like, I think it takes a certain amount of maturity to sort of see like the emotional aspects of the movie and to analyze a movie. So I think if you can look at it through that lens instead of like comparing it to modern works, you really see like the value of it historically speaking. So I don't know, it's pretty cool, man. Hitchcock's the man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
now,
so
the Psycho 2, I don't know.
Psycho 2, yeah.
Oh man, like early on, and they let him out of jail. They're just like, yeah, he's insane. Go live your life. And I was like, what? What are we doing here? He just walked out of prison to go run his hotel again. And okay.
Yeah. I mean, the 70s, I mean, in real life, the 70s and early 80s, they were letting people out, like, mental patients out of prison. Like that was a thing. Yeah, it's not made up. Like they were, Joker sort of touches on that a little bit. Like they're just, they just kind of drop all these people. They don't have the resources, they don't have the budget. They're just like, yeah, we're just letting you free. So so as crazy as that sounds, I don't think it's like that crazy.
Yeah.
So
and it is.
There was like a big scandal with Geraldo and that asylum or whatever. What was the name of that? Willowbrook Asylum. Have you ever seen anything on that?
I don't think so.
Geraldo does this big expose. He goes into this institution where they keep severely mentally retarded people, and they're living in absolute filth, right? And he's sick, and it was like his big breakthrough kind of expose documentary, Willowbrook Asylum, right? And so I guess there was a mental health crisis in the 70s where they just didn't know what to do with people. They just stuck them in an asylum, or I guess they stuck them in prison and then they let them back out again.
Yeah.
Psycho 2.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll start. I like the movie. I definitely don't. It's definitely not Psycho 1.
Yeah.
But I thought it actually was a pretty effective thriller, and I think the script builds on the Norman Bates story pretty well. And just so that we can discuss it openly, like the twist of the movie is saved for like the last 2 minutes of the movie. I think the idea that who's the killer, you're wondering who the killer is the whole time. The whole idea that the mother actually is the killer the whole time.
Oh yeah.
when in the first, it's the inversion of the first movie. Everyone thinks it's the mother killing him and it's Norman. And this time it's the opposite. I was like, I can see how that's a pretty cool idea. Like I have issues with how they kind of reveal it. I think they almost should have revealed it earlier or something, like for you to save it for like this rug pull in the last minute feels a little tacked on, I guess.
Yeah, they could at least planted a seed earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like it's tacked on. Like they didn't really give you the breadcrumbs to figure that out.
almost like a punchline where it's like, you know,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's probably my main issue with it. But otherwise, I think that I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I think that for the most part, it's a pretty good thriller, and that it mirrors things about the movie, but it modernizes them enough that, you know, it still works for an audience in the 80s. I enjoyed it. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, it's definitely not like a bad movie. I mean, I definitely agree with you about the kind of just twist ending just kind of thrown out there at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some corny, like super on the nose stuff. Like they call him Psycho throughout the movie. I just thought that was a little corny. But yeah, I mean, it's a fairly, I mean, like competent thriller movie, and I mean, it's essentially a giallo, like an American giallo.
Totally.
I mean, almost everything about it. I mean, I've been watching a few lately. Some I've liked and some I haven't. But yeah, it's an American giallo. It's exactly what it is.
Good call. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to talk about, you know, I mentioned Brian De Palma earlier, like as a big Hitchcock devotee, but you know, Dario Argento is so much of his stuff is Hitchcock. Like it is the Italian version of De Palma, sort of. It's like it's the more dreamy Italian version of what Psycho is. I mean, all those movies are definitely riffing off of Psycho.
Yeah, it really just got to come for full circle and just circling back to, you know, something Hitchcock started.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was decent. It wasn't great, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was fun. I watched it and had a good time. I thought it was, you know, a little absurd, you know, with him getting fresh out of prison. And then Meg Tilly just palling around with him like no big deal. I'm like, the guy is literally, you know, a fragmented person. You can tell by talking to him. And he's like, just shut up and eat, kind of. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll eat this, you know. And he's like touching all over her sandwich, and she just munches it right down. I'm like, dude, come on.
Well, I mean, they do kind of explain that somewhat because she's in on it, you know, the whole time. She is like weaseling her way into his life purposefully,
deliberately.
Yeah, so she's sort of overlooking things where it's like, okay, why are you not like freaking out at this guy?
Yeah, it helps it out.
It had good characters, like they were fun characters. I felt like, you know, believable to some degree, you know, in spite of. And I like Meg Tilly. Like Jennifer Tilly was in a couple of movies in the 90s, and she was like a comedian on SNL for a while. And so I was like, man, she looks so familiar to me. And I looked her up. I was like, oh, that's her sister. So I was like Jennifer Tilly quite a bit. Meg Tilly seems like she wanted to be taken a little bit more seriously as an actress and not a comedian, you know? So, you know, I thought she did a good job.
Yeah. I thought so too.
That's some dark scenery too. I like the house, like the way they kind of rebooted the house and the scenes in the house. The house was like kind of creepy, like I want to say goth, but I don't think it was too gothic. But I mean, it was still it had a vibe.
I would say I would say it's pretty gothic. Like the actual construction of the house is pretty gothic.
Yeah.
And you don't get the black and white this time, which I kind of wish they had just done black and white. But you know, I get it. I don't think they did. I don't think there's any black and white movies in the 80s.
Yeah, that'd probably been a little bit too much
if they had done black and white.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they just went in and just straight up copied, which, I mean, I guess they did in some aspects, but I mean, they made it their own enough. I thought. Yeah. That, you know, it might have checked too many boxes.
Made it too similar. That's not a bad point. I thought it looked really good. The cinematographer is Dean Cundey, the guy who works with John Carpenter He did Halloween, and he had just done The Thing right before this. So it's a
Oh,
good
snap.
looking movie.
Yeah, it looks good. And they did the like the rain scene and the kind of running through the rain with it, and then the hotel vibes had sort of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre like feel to it. I don't know. It was good.
Yeah.
It had like a little bit of Grindhouse and a lot of Giallo, like you said. But
yeah, there's a lot of like cool tracking shots and stuff. Like there's this one. I remember this one shot where Norman Bates is up like in the attic or something, looking out the window, and it tracks down the side of the house from that window and goes all the way down, and you see the kids crawling into the basement.
Yeah.
Like there's some cool like intricate stuff going on that I appreciated, because that's like totally a very Hitchcockian thing to do, you know.
Felt tell like a story with the camera.
Yeah, totally. It's directed by Richard Franklin, which I don't know if you guys have. Well, I know Hugh has seen one of his movies because me and him went and saw. It was at Graveyard Shift. It's called Road Games.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was Stacy Keach and Jamie Lee Curtis. I just rewatched it last week because I knew it was this same director.
Dude,
and I was
Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, he did Cloak and Dagger as well. He did this other movie called Patrick. He's an Australian director. I have that one on my list. It looks pretty interesting. Like he actually like studied under Hitchcock. He knew Hitchcock and stuff. So that's kind of why he got the job for it. Road Games I think is really good. It's basically Rear Window in a moving truck in the outback. I think that one's pretty awesome. The ending kind of, is not the most satisfying, but up until that, it's great. Jamie Lee Curtis is awesome in it. Stacy Keach is having a ball. It's worth watching.
He is in his element in that movie.
Oh, I think he is chewing it up. I love it. He's
having to be the trucker.
Oh yeah.
The road.
He has his dingo. He has his pet dingo in the car with him. He's just talking to his dingo.
Vacation in Australia or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Probably just a fun time for him in his life.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a fun movie though. If anyone hasn't seen it, worth watching. But yeah, I think he does a pretty good job directing. Like I think there's definitely some clunkiness with the script. Like there's issues with dialogue and maybe some of the connecting points don't work. I think like the main, like the structure of the movie more or less makes sense. It's just some of the stuff in between is kind of, hit or miss a little bit, but it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. I liked,
what made you come to picking this movie? Why did you?
Just because it's Halloween time. Like I'd heard several times. I listened to a lot of movie podcasts and stuff, and I've heard several times. Yeah, Psycho 2, like underrated sequel. Like no one talks about that movie, and so I was like, I was planning to watch it anyway. I was like, I feel like this would be a pretty good pick for the show.
Yeah, I figured with just another big horror movie getting a sequel made.
Yeah.
You might have figured into that.
I hadn't even. What's up, Randy?
What up?
Yeah, I hadn't really even considered that, but yeah, this is sort of the original legacy sequel. 22 years later, who else was doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, now they do it all the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, give me 1 second. I literally just walked in the door.
No worries, man. No worries. We've been talking for a few minutes, but ready to get your opinion on the movie.
Dude, I watched it with the entire family, like literally the whole family.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's another good thing about this movie. Like it's not something too crazy that you can't watch in front of your kids.
Well, there were some boobies and some vagine in it that I forgot about.
Is there? I guess there was.
There's full frontal in it, but I mean, it's so subtle. I forgot that it was in there, and I knew it was in there. But
I already forgot. I watched it 2 days ago. I already forgot. There's a few like pretty violent kills.
Yeah,
Dude, it's a
Well,
good movie, man.
there's a
when he
good
killed the
stab
drunk
like, right
guy,
through the.
yeah, I don't know. He killed the drunk guy. I was like, that was it. Like he's dead. He got.
Oh, yeah.
That was all. I
Oh,
was
Dennis
wanting
Franz.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Killed-
Krista didn't
kept throwing
recognize
rocks at
him.
his house.
Yeah, what is it? NYPD
NYPD
Blue,
Blue.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just say there's a really good like stab through the mouth.
Oh, yeah.
The other one, like I wanted to bring up is it's like super silly, but like, oh, man,
You're super silly.
who was it? Like he stabs. Was it the mom or something? And she flies over the stairs and like lands on the knife.
Oh no, that's the
No.
psychiatrist.
Okay,
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The girl stabs him,
That's okay. Yeah,
and he's like, ah, and then he flies over. I love that part, dude.
Yeah.
That
I
is
loved it, too.
amazing.
yeah, it was
That's-
hilarious.
That reminded me of something like Argento would do. It's like it
Yeah.
makes no sense, but it's awesome.
It was very silly giallo, but I also agree with Chris and Josh. I loved it, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
What's up, Hugh? How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
You know, same old mess.
Flying by the seat.
Ready
of
for
your pants,
tomorrow?
all
Ready
up
to
in
get
the
this weekend
podcast.
over with and get my butt
Yeah.
to Vegas, man. I'm ready
Vegas.
to have some
Quagus.
fun, man.
Oh
You
yeah.
gonna fly up there or drive?
We're flying. We're leaving Monday night at like 6:30 to go to the airport, and it's a 3-hour flight. And then we'll be there just in time to get out and like go drive around. We got a car where we're gonna rent. We rented a car, and we're gonna go just kind of cruise around and look at Las Vegas for a few minutes, and then go home. Because on Tuesday morning we're getting up real early, like 8 o'clock, and we're gonna go out to the Grand Canyon, and we're gonna start off by getting that done. Do it, look at it, go visit it, and then we're gonna go hit the museum, and then after that we have like 2.5 days where we don't have really a lot of plans. We want to hit the steakhouse that's right by the hotel we're staying in, and then we want to hit the mob museum, and then we're gonna go record shopping, and then look at horror stuff because it's Halloween. So yeah, we're gonna be busy. I'm gonna be
You're
real
gonna have a
tired
good
when I get back.
Yeah, have a good time.
I mean, the
Sorry,
best
I
way
didn't mean
to
to sidetrack things.
No, for sure. I mean, I was gonna say the best way to have a vacation with your wife is to not plan too much, though, just to be able to wander around and just sort of relax and enjoy it a little bit.
The only two things that are like concrete are Tuesday and Friday. So we have Wednesday and Thursday pretty much up in the air to do whatever we want.
Perfect.
So
Yeah, that's
and
good.
then Tuesday, even that ends at like 8 because the museum closes at like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. So it closes kind of early. So we still have like a good chunk, 20-30% of Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday. And then Friday morning, we're meeting up with Rob for lunch and then going on a guided tour of the museum to get all the footage we want. And bro,
Okay.
I mean, this is going to be fun for me for like months because I'm going to have footage to edit and stuff. It's going to be, I'm excited.
Awesome. All right. Well, since you just joined us, I'm gonna hand the reins over to you.
Cool.
We just we've been talking about the movie for about 20 minutes now. But before we get your thoughts on Psycho 2, tell us about your relationship with the original, and then you can just lead into Psycho 2.
So the original is one of those movies that, okay, so we have the movies like The Exorcist and what's another one that was like pretty well known that I didn't care for much? Like Rosemary's Baby,
yeah.
like stuff like that I just didn't really, it's just not for me. Like I thought I was going to really love them. Psycho's the other side of that coin. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. It's a beloved classic, and I watched it the first time at a pretty young age. I don't even remember when it was, to be honest. It was a long time ago. And I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. And then I didn't watch it again for, like 10, 15 years. And shoot, it might have been longer than that, man. I mean, it was a long time since I watched it. Because, it's once you watch that kind of movie, you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So the issue with me is that my memory is so poor that I remembered like key things about it.
Yeah.
But I didn't remember like all the little stuff. And that's where Psycho is so good. All the little stuff. The big stuff's great, of course it is. But the little stuff about it is amazing. So
not sorry to interrupt, but
you're fine.
Psycho is a movie that you've seen even if you haven't seen.
Facts.
It's
For
like
real.
Everyone has seen the big scenes. If you've, I watched it with my son this time. He actually hadn't because he's young enough that it's just not in the culture anymore. But for anyone our age, even if you've never watched it, you know all the iconic scenes of Psycho, but
Dude, sorry.
But you're right. It is all of the little things in between that
Yeah.
make it the classic, the masterpiece that it is, for sure. Go ahead.
Well, if you look at the situation that I'm in right now, my kids just watched 2 and haven't seen 1 yet. So they don't really understand like the gravity of that character. Like they understand that he was the like bad guy. He was yada yada, whatever, right? Chris has only seen Psycho, I think, once or twice. So the kids, whenever I watch it with Bricken, which I will do, it's gonna throw him off, dude. He's gonna be like, "What?" Because it does a little like recap at the beginning, but it's not like real heavy. It doesn't have a lot of content.
No, not really. It kind of just shows the shower scene.
It really did just kind of show like that one little part, and it gave you like that wee 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 that everybody knows and loves. But yeah, man, Psycho's a movie that the older I get, the more I appreciate it. But I always have liked that movie, and I think it's one of the ones that me and you really, really kind of connected on as far as like classics. Because as soon as the 4K was available, we both really wanted that, and we both watched it and talked about it. Chris, were you involved in that? I think you were, weren't you? Yeah, because you made me some cases for the box set. So yeah, we were already hanging out with Chris too. Right. So we really bonded over that, and that's one that we all agreed on. And that was, especially back then, that was super rare. We were just learning what each other liked and stuff. So I mean, Psycho's is an important movie to me, man. I mean, Hitchcock is a guy that I often forget about, unfortunately, but is worthy of my time and praise. He's a classic film director, and he did a lot of things that I think pushed the boundaries, pushed the envelope, whatever you want to call it. And he wasn't known as a nice man. And I think that actually helped get what he wanted out of a film, because it's kind of like with Cujo. What was her name?
Dee Wallace?
Yes. So she was forced to be in that car all day, and it was hot, like hot. Like not just, oh, it was warm. No, it was like 120 degrees in that car in the baking hot sun, and she wasn't allowed out of that car. Now, this isn't Hitchcock, but it's like the same kind of thing. Like they forced her to stay in that car, and they got what they wanted out of that movie from it. Now, she doesn't have fond memories of that time doing that. That director. Yeah, that's all I ever hear about Hitchcock, is that people don't have fond memories of making movies with him, but they're like, but I got the performance I wanted, you know.
Right. The comparison I always think of is Kubrick, because he's notorious for doing 50, 100 takes of things.
Good
like
grief.
Especially The Shining. Shelley Duvall was literally like driven insane on that set of that movie. Like,
mind.
Yeah, she sucks at acting, so she had to do it over and over and over again.
My man said she sucks at acting.
Wait,
oh man, if Popeye
he sucks at acting?
No, I don't like her character. That's like one of my main gripes with The Shining. Is her character is very annoying.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of sympathy for her.
She plays it just fine. I don't like her character. So that's just my little stab.
Oh, that was awesome. The way that character sucks, and she played it perfectly.
Just fine.
Oh man, as far as Psycho 2 is concerned, though, I don't honestly have a ton to say about it, other than I really like it. It's one of those movies that'll fool you, because you're going to be like, oh, Psycho 2, 20 years later, I guess. Right. Dude, it is one of the better movies that, as far as movies that have come out, like, dude, this Avatar 2 didn't do what Psycho 2 did. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was way too late. Psycho 2 was way too late. And it came out, and I don't know what it did, like, monetarily or anything. But it's a good movie, though. Like, it's really quite good. Like, I'm not going to say it's as good as the first. Yeah. But if you took somebody that didn't know anything about movies, didn't know who Hitchcock was, and just showed them those two movies and said, hey, are they like on par with each other? I would feel like some people would go, yeah, like a fair amount of people would go, yeah, they're pretty similar in quality, and especially if they're not into like all the little things that you and I would be interested in. Yeah. And I think the movie's very good. I like the acting in it. I like how he just naturally aged. So they just took it and were like, all right, fine. Yeah. It's post a 20-year thing. He's fine now. That's how we'll get him out of there. And I liked all the characters. I liked a couple of twists. I liked having old buddy from NYPD Blue. There's a lot to like about this movie, man.
Yeah. No, we've been talking about it for a little bit, so I don't want to repeat it myself too much, but yeah, I thought it was a solid thriller. Like, definitely not at the masterpiece level of the original, but a worthy continuation of the Norman Bates story.
Agreed.
How do you feel about the end, the very end?
So
with the mother,
with like that other lady being the mom and then he whacks her.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it's 2023 makes it a little harder to appreciate that. But I think if we watched it in 1983, we'd be like, whoa, what? It is a little cringy, though, in my opinion. But whatever, man.
Yeah, I kind of just pointed out that I like the idea of it because the original Psycho is, you assume it's the mother doing the killings and it ends up being Norman Bates. In this movie, it's like, oh, is Norman killing everyone again? And it ends up being the mother. Like, that's kind of a cool reversal.
Yeah.
But I think we all kind of agreed that it comes so late in the movie that it feels sort of tacked on. And they don't give you like really any breadcrumbs to get you to figure that out until that.
Yes, that is actually the best way that you could put it. They didn't give you, because like oftentimes we are.
It feels like a cheat.
Yeah. We're usually told exactly what's happening. We don't need to be told everything, but doggone, man, we could have used some kind of hint. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, it felt like a late adjustment, like at the end of the movie, they're like, oh, what would be awesome? Let's do this. And instead of writing it in the movie, they just added it on to the end.
Right.
Yeah. I made the Giallo comparison earlier. It is pretty much an American Giallo movie. And I know, like Josh likes to use the Scooby-Doo ending to describe Giallo movies.
Oh, totally,
and it's exactly a Scooby-Doo ending. That's a
good
pull the mask off, and out of nowhere, it was his mom that nobody knew existed. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah. The only thing that I really don't like about the movie, though, there's only one thing. What do you think it is? There's one thing that I wish that they did different.
Is it a person or a story point?
Neither. It's a production thing.
Okay. I don't know, because you always.
I wish it was in black and white.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I said that too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I wish it was in black and white, but it's not like a super big deal.
Yeah. I just thought it would have been a little on the nose if they just tried to copy everything about the original. That they at least did try to do their own thing.
Well, I do agree with that. I'm not like mad about it. I do think that would have been a nice tip of the cap. But yeah, I mean, I think it would have towed that line pretty.
Yeah, I don't think it would have ruined it or anything.
I think it would have felt pretty natural. Like, if you're continuing that story, like, I get what you're saying, but Psycho just feels like it should be a black and white world. Live in the shadows a little bit more.
Yeah, but they did a little transition where they showed the big shower scene from the first one and a little bit more from the ending, I think, right, and then like slowly transitioned into color into the new one. So they put their little homage to it in there. And
it's still a pretty dark movie. It is a very shadowy movie. Like, it's like I said earlier, it's Dean Cundey who did Halloween and The Thing. Like, he works in very dark, almost underexposed photography. Like, Halloween is a super black, dark movie.
There's a lot of just paletted, like, black swaths in Halloween.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I think they made it color. There's bright splashes of color, but there's still a lot of shadow and darkness in it too. So at least.
How do you like the main female lead, the young lady?
Meg Tilly? Yeah, I hadn't gotten to that yet, but she's probably my other big nitpick. I don't think she's very good.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. I loved her in that movie. Like everything about it, I thought it was awesome. Man,
really?
I'm pretty surprised.
I like
yeah.
Meg Tilly too, man. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, Meg Tilly, that's Jennifer Tilly's sister.
I don't know.
So, do what?
I don't know. She was not selling me through the whole movie. Like she, you
I
know,
was just excited to see her. I don't know.
Yeah.
maybe I just don't really know her as well.
Yeah, she was super cute. Yeah, I'm notoriously interested in like shitty movies though. Like, so like her acting doesn't bother me. Her like, all I meant by that is like I like super low budget stuff where they have to get the neighbor to play a part of a movie. So like, I'm often watching things that I don't really. There's no way you could convince me that anything is really happening. Yeah. That being said, like I don't often get caught by bad acting unless it's so egregious that it's like the main person. Like if you know, I don't know, just pick any big blockbuster movie. Let's say you had a Spider-Man movie come out and Tom Holland just ate shit through the whole movie. Okay, that would bother me. But somebody that I'm not super familiar with, that I just barely know of, where the focal point is Norman Bates anyways, and she's like the second tier lead.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was more interested in like the character and the story of the characters more so than like the acting or the, you know, the execution of everything. But I really liked that in the story. I liked the character and I like who they chose to play her because I like just, I don't know, man, she fit the mold to me. I'm a little surprised to say. So what is it that you didn't like about her? Was it, you said she didn't convince you, huh?
Yeah, I just didn't think she was selling it all that well. I don't know. I mean, there was something sort of off about it. And, you know, Hugh brought it up a little bit ago, but she is sort of like playing naive a little bit because she's in on the, you know, the stuff with her mom that you find out later. So but I don't know. I don't think she was. I didn't think she acted very well in it. Personally,
that's the trick. She's such a good actor that she acted like somebody that was a bad actor in like a scenario. She's really way above what we all thought. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if any of it was intentional. I kind of doubt
none of it was.
But
she's
been in so many roles.
Yeah, but I think you're kind of naturally suspicious of her from the jump. Like,
sure,
what is she doing? Like, why is she so? I mean, you probably are being like maybe even a little extra critical about her because like her character is confusing just from the jump.
Dude, I mean, I guess I'm just a big dumbass, bro, because I wasn't skeptical of her at all. I was just like, oh yeah, she's having trouble. She's just, I mean, I know people that are exactly like her, so I guess like, and I also come from a like place and time where I knew people that didn't have anywhere to go, that were hopping couches, and I've done that, and I know, like, didn't seem that odd to me that she was doing that at all. So maybe, and also, though, I mean, we watch movies a very different way, so I just don't even. I don't even.
Lunatic.
You know, I don't go below the surface level often. You know, I go, oh, this is what's presented to me. You know. I mean, gullible. I've been called gullible a lot when it comes to watching movies or something. But that's fine, though. I enjoy them because of that. So it doesn't bother me. But yeah, I guess in hindsight, you go, yeah, I guess you should have been really skeptical of what she was doing. But it just seemed pretty natural to me. It seemed like he was the one being kind of weird, you know?
You definitely was.
Definitely, yeah. Well, I like it. I like his innocence though, because he doesn't know whether he's going crazy or not. I enjoyed that about the movie.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job portraying that.
Yeah, I like it as well. Like he genuinely doesn't know when he's flipping between him and his mother. Like that's that is part of the first movie, but you know his own insanity is out there. You know, like he doesn't know what's going on. So
she's telling him like, no, I'm messing with you. And he's like, no, I'm going crazy.
Right.
Like, I swear I'm just in with you. And he's like, No, you're not. It's just like,
and it makes you feel
yeah.
bad for him. Like,
oh, I felt
you
real
know?
bad for him.
And
Yeah.
he's the psycho, so you
Yeah.
shouldn't feel bad for him, but he's empathetic. I don't know.
Man, that guy at the restaurant, the like lead cook dude, man, I could hardly handle listening to that guy talk because he was so rude to everybody in the movie. And I was like, man, I just feel like I've been around this guy too many times. He needs to shut the fuck up. Like, oh
Yeah.
man, that was a good movie, man. I enjoyed that.
Let me ask you a question to get back to the Meg Tilly thing real quick. What would you guys think if they had put Jamie Lee Curtis in there instead?
Oh,
How would you guys feel about that?
No.
I mean,
because
she's the daughter of what's her name? Of
That's
the
true.
Original Psycho. So
yeah.
and she
It's
was
because
and she was originally like the planned actress.
oh really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
And she was in the director's last movie, Road Games. So
she's not. I just don't think she's stupid enough or weak enough to be. I don't know.
She's not innocent enough, I guess.
Like I feel like she's like she would have killed everybody.
Yeah,
like,
she would fight back.
Like yeah, I don't know, man. It's just something about her where I feel like she's too much for that role.
Yeah, I could kind of see that.
I love Jamie Lee Curtis though, so. Bro, I'm sorry I was giggling. I just kept thinking about all the stuff that other girl was doing, and I was thinking of it as Jamie Lee Curtis doing it, and I was like, nah, that wouldn't have been... That would have, like, too sold me on it. She's too good of an actor is kind of what I was getting at, too.
Yeah, well, I think I would have liked that. Maybe it's too much of a mirror to the first one, like Chris was saying about the black and white, but I don't know. I feel like she can play the innocence and the strength so much better. Like I feel like she would have just sold it way more.
You know,
maybe so.
Who knows what would have happened if she had done that in 1983? I wouldn't be looking at it through the lens of a 2023, film fan.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. But looking at it from my vantage point right now, I feel like I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But that doesn't really mean much. I don't know. But I love Jamie Lee Curtis, so I definitely would have watched it. But I don't know, dude. Meg Tilly's more attractive, so I
don't agree with that at all.
Really?
No, I think Jamie Lee Curtis is very attractive.
What? Yeah, no, she's
okay.
No.
wait, Chris, are you saying Jamie Lee Curtis is good looking or no?
No, I think she's quite ugly, actually.
I didn't go that far.
Wow.
Like when she was young, like in Halloween and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah, younger.
I thought she was a pretty lady. Like
I don't know. True Lies is like when I hit puberty, I think. So I don't know.
You've mentioned that before, and when I watched that, I literally go, "Ooh, no."
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, maybe I just can't get the new Halloween trilogy out of my head to like disconnect those things. But
well,
I've never really had a thing for. I mean, I like her in OG Halloween. But that's kind of about as far as it goes.
Well, I understand what Josh is saying though, because like all through my adolescence and like early adulthood, I had a huge thing for Helen Hunt because when I was young, I went and like watched Twister and she was so pretty. Like she was just this beautiful, strong woman. And I was like super attracted to her. So like all the way through, like she did that TV show for all those years and I used to watch it just because I thought she was pretty. Like, and she's very, I guess, average looking, but I thought she was a really good looking woman.
Yeah.
So I totally understand what you mean by like the one that captures you as a youngster. You're like, oh, no, I don't know, bro. She's pretty hot.
She's definitely unconventional looking, but I definitely don't think she's ugly.
No, I never thought she was ugly. I just never thought she was super good looking. I was 6.5 out of 10, somewhere around the same attractive level as like Florence Pugh or something.
She was definitely a sex symbol for a while. I mean, like stuffing like trading places and stuff. What about you, Hugh? Get in here. What do you think?
I mean, I like intelligent women and like women who can kick ass and hold their own and outsmart, the killers. That's always like, everybody loves the final girl. I always like, me, I watch a lot of emotional things and really dig them. I feel like, for some reason the female perspective resonates with me. So the final girl is always like, I mean, I'm always crushing on the final girl. So, and Jamie Lee does that probably better than, I would say she is the final girl. for decades of horror movies, and so I would say like, yeah, I find her attractive to that regard.
Well, when
I like
you
Holly
put it
Hunter,
like that,
bro. You know, like Holly. I'm always talking about Holly Hunter, and you're like,
Yeah.
Holly Hunter, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, yeah, she could get it. So I mean, it's not all about like.
That was awesome.
You know, 6 out of 10 is, you know, I'll still rock with that.
Well, and I meant that as a positive. I don't think, you know, start hitting like the 4s and 3s. That's talking some shit. 6 is above average. I think she's above average. I don't think she was ugly at all.
Who's
Chris?
Johnny Depp's ex-wife? Like, what was her?
Amber Heard.
Amber Heard. So for a while, I was like, dude, Amber Heard is a freaking smoke show, right?
A couple movies. I never thought she was that good looking.
And then I see her like interacting on the court trials, and I'm like, oh my god, like I would be terrified to be around that chick. So you know, stuff like that that'll shut it down real quick.
Definitely knocks her down a few notches.
Dude, you know who I was watching on? Okay, so my kids and I were going through like the classics. Bricken finally finished The Thing, and he loved it. Nice. So I know, dude, I'm so proud of him right now. We're in the middle of watching Alien now, and I was thinking last night, I was like watching it, and I'm looking at the TV, and I'm going, was there ever a point where Sigourney Weaver was like attractive? I just can't see it.
What?
Bro, Final Girl, the quintessential ass kick.
Wait, are you serious?
I take Sigourney Weaver all day over Jamie Lee Curtis.
Okay, if we're talking those two choices, I guess I'll have to go with her. But like, I don't know, man. Her face looks like it's pinched in. Like it's like you got a face, and then you went, you know, you got like an extra. I don't know, man. Her face is really tiny on a big ass head. Like, I don't know. I'm very surprised. I was really expecting you to be like, yeah, okay, I get it, but I was. Whatever, and I'll shut up then. I'm not trying to. I like her as an actor. She's cool, but like,
yeah.
Now we're getting to like the 4.5 out of 10. To like, that's
Jesus.
Sigourney Weaver? Hold on, I'm gonna Google her real quick.
Dude, I mean, I've got an Instagram, like the guy posts like historic pictures of actors and actresses, and I was literally like, Sigourney Weaver had some pictures of her when she was in her 20s, and I was like, God bless, like she was very
okay, maybe in her 20s then. Okay, but like, I don't know, man. I'm not okay. Hold on, let me look.
I mean, Alien and Aliens too.
Yeah. The early days, I think she's very sexy. Later, as she got older, less so for sure. But
yeah, but I mean, in the 70s, like I don't really think that many, you know, nudie scenes in the 70s are really like, oh, you know. Now you're kind of like, ooh, get a razor to that, and you know.
I don't know, man. I guess I'm just.
It's just not the same.
I don't know. I definitely saw Alien when I was a kid, and when she's walking around in her underwear at the end, I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
either. Maybe I just don't. Maybe I'm just an idiot. That's a large possibility. Man, maybe it's just her like jawline. I'm just not into it, man. She's got too big a jaw. But whatever. I mean, she's not like ugly.
That's
like
probably the problem with Jamie Lee too. She's got a very strong like jaw and chin. Thing. Yeah.
You know who was really pretty when she was young that I'd never think of until I see an old picture of her was the one that's in all the Coen brothers movies. That blonde woman.
Frances McDormand.
When she was young, she was like shockingly good looking as a youngster.
Dude, like Blood Simple. Blood Simple. She's very pretty. Yeah.
What's her name again?
Frances McDormand.
Frances, that's what it is.
And
Frances.
See, there's an intelligent woman who's like probably above average looking. That I'm like, dude, she's very attractive to me.
Like,
yeah. When she was young, I thought she was real pretty. And I don't mean to like crap on these women. I love both of those actresses, dude. Jamie Lee Curtis and Sigourney Weaver are both awesome. So like, I was looking at that movie last night, and I literally thought, man, was there ever a point where she was like a sex symbol? I can't believe that I said that, and y'all were like, yeah. I'm like, what? I was like literally like sitting there going, no. But like, maybe I'm just an idiot. I mean, you know,
to each their own, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, your takes kind of just flip flopped with Jamie Lee Curtis for me.
Goes to my philosophy that there's somebody for everybody in this.
Facts. I mean, if you look at like all of our women in our lives, we all have very unique looking women, and we all look at them as like, that's what I like to look at. You know, I mean, just because I like to look at, I mean, you can even use famous people as an example. I really think that Eva Mendes is like top tier, right? I've had dudes tell me straight to my face that she was unattractive, and I just don't get it. I was like, what are you looking at?
Are you a human? I was like, I don't know.
I was like, bro, you're gay. You just didn't know.
Yeah.
Like,
that could be true.
Yeah, Eva Mendes is unattractive, huh? So I guess Ryan Gosling's super hot, right? Like,
I'm just gonna go poke my eyes out now,
dude. Like, and you know, so like you said, to each his own. And so,
No.
but I was very. That's a surprising statement to me. But whatever, man. I mean,
so like Eva Mendes. I mean, come on,
dude. She was so bad that I'll watch Ghost Rider, bro.
That's commitment.
And I love Nick Cage.
Yeah. That's commitment.
Dude, have you seen the trailer? You know what? Let's finish up Psycho talk. I
Yeah,
got a couple questions.
Yeah. We can wrap up Psycho. I don't think we have. I think we pretty much got all our thoughts out on that.
Yeah, we all pretty much are all on the same page for the most part.
Dude, solid pick, man. Solid pick.
Yeah, I thought it was worth watching and gave me an opportunity to show my son the original, so that was really cool for me. So I thought it was totally worth it.
What were you saying, Hugh?
I said I got one more thing. Just kidding.
Oh,
I don't have.
Oh, okay. I thought you did. I didn't want to forget and not address it. Man, he full got me, didn't he? He's like, ah.
All right. So before we get into anything else, let's do the pick for next week. Chris, it's your week.
All right. I got a kind of an.
I won't be here next week. Duh.
Yes. Yeah. Randy will be gone next week because he's going to be in Vegas.
I will. What day are y'all doing it on? Tuesday?
Probably. Yeah.
I'll keep in touch. There is a chance that I'm able to sit in the hotel room on my phone and do this.
Man,
I'm taking my tripod with me.
Yeah, but are you going to be able to watch? Are you going to be able to watch the movie? I got kind of a weird.
Whatever it is, I'm going to watch it this weekend.
Okay.
Before I even go.
I honestly was going to go kind of weird since you weren't going to be here.
It's okay. Well, I mean, if I don't want to do it, there's no pressure on me right now. So I'm going to be out of town. So whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, so it's an Estonian folk horror movie.
Okay.
From 2017. It's called November.
Maybe I will dip on out of here.
November. Okay.
It's a folk horror movie that's
what year was it?
2017.
I don't even think I've heard of this.
Yeah, I've seen on a bunch of just like underrated, horror movies of the last decade, stuff like that.
Okay.
And it seems kind of wild. So
man, it's 2 hours. Yeah, I might have to pass this one.
Yes, that's like when I said I had a choice in pick earlier. That's kind of why I was gonna like throw it out there as an option. But
what was your other pick?
My other pick was gonna be Intruder. Slasher from the 80s.
Oh,
late
80s.
Oh, I love that movie. That's like seriously. Hold on, is that the grocery store one?
Yes.
Dude, that's like one of my top 5 slashers of all time.
Doesn't that have like Sam Raimi in it or something?
Yes.
Yeah, dude, it's got Ted Raimi in it.
Sam too.
I think it's both.
Sam's in it too.
Yeah,
both of them.
Yeah, it's got one of my favorite fight scenes of horror movie of all time, and it's one of my favorite. I will always be down to watch that movie. So anytime you want to pick that one, throw it out there.
Yeah, I'll hold it in my pocket for
no worries
for later at some point. I've never seen it, so I've kind of wanted to see that one too.
Dude, it's a fucking good movie, man.
But I figured I would slide a weird one to not subject you to it.
Sounds good. Okay, November next week.
Where can you watch that at?
It was a rental from what it looked like.
I'm not seeing it anywhere. That's why I was asking. Is it on Prime? Like rent?
Says it is. YouTube, Vudu.
Yeah, looks like it.
Okay, I'll figure it out then. Wait, here we go.
Yeah, I have not heard of this, but it looks cool. Black and white.
Yeah. Suppose it got some, super like crazy camera work and art style, and
so it is foreign language too, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, this is saying, oh, the language is Estonian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, somebody
Netherlands,
send me a
Poland.
link to it on Prime or something. I'm literally not seeing it at all. But
Yeah, I'll find it
send
for
me a
you.
link.
I'll find it for you after.
And I'll try to watch it this weekend, and then if I get a chance to finish it, I'll jump on the conversation.
Cool.
And
Yeah, I mean, it's on YouTube.
In Vegas.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I'll just watch it there,
it's on
then.
YouTube to rent. $4.
Man, that is a strange pick, sir.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to run down a few things that I watched this week. We can just sort of, rapid fire a few things, and we'll wrap up. So I've been watching horror movies, lots of horror movies this week. So of course, I already mentioned we watched the original Psycho. We watched Opera at the theater last week, the Argento movie, or I watched it.
Hugh half watched it.
You watched 20 minutes of it and then left.
You bailed on that shit.
Dude, I was watching it. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this movie. And then I was like, I remember this movie because the guy looks like the dude in Dream a Little Dream, like the Corey Feldman movie. The boyfriend looked like the director guy. And I felt like I remember researching it and tripping out. Anyway, stupid thing. And then, so when I got in the movie, I was like, I remember this movie. And then I saw the first kill. I was like, yep, that was it. That was a good one. I'm leaving. And so
it's all downhill from here. I remember.
I felt kind of bad because I remember like, should I have told them bye? And I was like, nah. They'll text me later.
You should definitely like text us. I thought you could like fell in the bathroom or something for a while.
Yeah, at least throw a text in the thread.
Yeah,
and nobody texted me, and I was like, "Oh shit, they're mad."
I was just like, "All right, that's fine." Chris hated it, and you didn't even finish it. It's all good.
And I stayed and hung out, waited for them to get out of the theater too.
Yeah,
did you really?
Yeah,
because I got off like about 10 or 15 minutes before it was over, and I knew that, and I knew they weren't going to hang out too long, so I was like, I'll just go hang out by the cars, and so I wanted to show them my car, and I haven't really hung out much lately. So
I wish I would have seen that. Oh man,
womp womp. Couldn't stick through it. It's all good. So I also watched the original Carrie from the 70s with Sissy Spacek. Yeah. I forgot how much that is a Hitchcock movie too.
I haven't seen that in a long time either.
I watched that probably like 10 years ago, probably not too long after I saw Psycho for the first time. But
no kidding.
It was like I was starting to read a lot of Stephen King books too around that time, and I just read Carrie, and then I watched the movie, and I was like, this isn't the book, and I was like, this sucks. I didn't like it. But I bought the Scream Factory thing a while back. I was like, I need to rewatch this. I need to give it another shot. And I thought it was pretty fantastic, actually. Like, it surprised me. It surprised me. I thought it was great.
I hadn't seen it in a long time. I think I originally watched it on like TV or something. So it was super edited to death.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind rewatching it.
It's good. It's really good.
I don't like that movie very much. I don't dislike it either. I feel like when I watched it, I was just like, okay. Like I didn't dislike it. I don't think it's bad or anything. I don't like Sissy Spacek, first off, like at all. I don't know. Something about her, man. I did. What was that movie she was in that we watched a while back?
Badlands.
Badlands.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man. I don't know. I need to rewatch both of those.
When I was a kid, I did not like Sissy Spacek at all. People were like, "Oh, Sissy Spacek." I was like, "Dude, she's weird to me."
She is weird.
Yeah.
That's why I like her.
Now I really feel like I appreciate her quite a bit more. I feel like she does like the fragile little bird well,
Yes.
where you're just like you could just crush her with your hand.
You're not wrong.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the whole thing about Carrie. Like, she's like such a traumatized little girl, like that's been, shuttled in this home. She plays it perfectly. She's kind of doing the same thing in Badlands too. But what else? I watched Prom Night, the Jamie Lee Curtis one. That is a piece of shit.
Sorry.
Horrible.
I fucking love that movie.
Absolutely boring as fuck. I
Opera?
hated it.
Like opera?
Dude, I love that movie, bro.
No,
So
you
boring.
don't.
So boring.
Am I not thinking about the right movie?
Dude, there's like 30 minutes of just kids dancing in that
What's
movie.
it called?
It's Prom Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Jamie Lee Curtis one.
Brings
like-
back memories, Randy.
1980. It's
Prom.
like it's just like a couple years after Halloween. It's like one of like the next horror movie she did probably.
Did they remake that too?
They
at
Yeah,
some
did.
point?
there is
It's
there
terrible.
is a remake. Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking maybe you saw the remake.
I mean, I like the remake okay, but it's terrible. But I
No,
like
there's-
Prom Night.
There's literally like 30 or 40 minutes of just high school kids dancing. In this
What's wrong with
movie.
that? No, I'm playing.
It's fucking boring. It's like, where's the killing? There's not enough killing. Like I
Bro.
don't usually have that problem, but I was so bored.
You're right. That's pretty funny to hear you say that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't love Prom Night, I guess, but I like it. Okay, I own it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I
not,
may have said that is a piece of shit.
it's bad. It's real bad. Today I watched Murder Party.
Oh, I love
Okay.
that fucking movie. I
Yeah.
love that movie.
It is like a micro budget movie, so I'm not surprised that Randy loves it. But it's actually pretty fucking fun.
Dude, it's hilarious. That fool just shows up like, meh. And it's like,
yeah.
come to our
This-
murder party so we can kill you. He shows up like,
He's
oh, this is
just
a
this
funny joke.
lonely loser that picks up
That
a
costume, bro.
yeah. He wears this like cardboard costume. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go to this Halloween party, and it's just a bunch of losers doing drugs, and they're like, I can't believe you're dumb enough to show up. Now we're gonna kill you.
Dude, I love that movie. I've got like 2 copies of it.
I've never heard of it.
So
Dude,
it's
I
by,
definitely brought that movie up before.
yeah, you have.
Okay.
It's actually the debut of Jeremy Saunier, the guy that directed Green Room.
Oh, okay.
That's how I found out about it.
Yes, I mean, he's a great director, and he hasn't really done anything for a while. But
Yeah.
that and we did Blue Ruin on the show,
Yeah.
like, like a year ago or something.
Yeah.
He did some good movies, and it's like I looked it up. It cost like $200,000 or something. It's
Yeah,
pretty
that was
low
all
budget.
renting the warehouse.
Yeah, no, it's
Like-
like that's what it costs to rent the warehouse and the camera, and that's
Dude, it really, and this is going to sound weird, but it reminded me
yeah.
of like a horror version of what Tarantino did with Reservoir Dogs. Real simple, mostly dialogue,
Yep.
and really like engrossing story. And if you like that, then you'll like the movie. Now, if that's not your
Mhm.
bag and you want more action and explosions, Reservoir Dogs is pretty boring too. If that's what you're looking for.
Right.
So
it's very silly. They lean into it. It's sort of like he's sort of doing a Sam Raimi thing. Like he's using his budget. He's leaning into the silliness of it. But it's pretty well done. Like for like having no money, like made with scotch tape and bubble gum. It's like
so what made you watch that movie? Was it because of the director?
I had bought the DVD of it a long time ago because of the director, and this month I pulled out like all the horror movies that I hadn't watched out of my stack and just stacked those up. So I've been going through them
Nice.
this month. I was like, oh, this is 80 minutes. Let me just throw this on real quick.
Right.
So I watched that today. Pretty fun.
Dude, Crystal loves that movie too, bro. That's one of
Yeah,
the things I like about it. She likes it.
It's a good time. Definitely worth watching.
I'm happy you like that one. Like that really does make me happy. Because
Yeah,
it's a good movie. Like it's not.
well,
it's not
it's actually
super
like-
down my alley. It's just like mostly my alley.
It's actually like well directed for what it is too. Like
Right.
There's some cool camera work. Like he has no budget, so he's just like holding the camera and moving it around. Like it's not just static shots that you get with a lot of like super low budget movies. He keeps it moving. He keeps it dynamic. So I really appreciated it.
one of the few movies that's very equal your style and mine.
Yeah, for sure. What do y'all want to fire off a few things before we wrap up?
I'll go
Anybody?
last.
I'm sandbagging mine for the show. I want to put them on the. I want to recommend them. So
Okay.
No, wait. What you just like stuff you watched last week?
I only watched one movie, so you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair
Well, I
enough.
watched. Go, Chris.
Sorry, yeah, I watched Tenebrae like
Nice.
the day after we watched Opera, and I enjoyed that one quite a bit more. Like I'm still like not a huge Giallo fan. I think I might be done with them for a little bit at least. But yeah,
I've got to
Tenebrae
be in
was
the
solid.
mood. I've got to be
Yeah.
in the mood for Jello, and I like it, and I still have to be in the mood for it. I watched The Blackening, which I don't know how offensive they can be with movies. I don't get offended very easily, but that movie was something else. And then I watched Meet the Blacks too because I was just in that groove. And that one was amazing. I love Cat Williams. Shout out to Mike Epps.
Okay. All right.
I
So
watched The Thing
exploitation.
twice. I know, right? It's like modern blaxploitation.
Yeah.
I watched The Thing twice because I had watched it with Krissa and with Bricken.
Never a bad time.
No, never a bad time. And I actually stayed up and watched it both times the whole way through and like super was into it. Obviously, I watched Psycho 2. I watched I watched half of Alien, and then Bricken fell asleep, so I paused it so we can continue it later. And then what was that damn movie I watched the other day? I can't remember. I guess if it comes to me later, I'll bring it up. But yeah, I watched a few things. My movies I've been trying to watch more, but especially being, October. But
Yeah.
I just haven't been in the movie. Haven't had the time.
Yeah.
My stuff is so busy right now. But I'm watching some stuff. I'm gonna watch some shit on the plane probably. So
Hey,
we'll
so-
see.
I
We'll
did
see.
watch.
You're still
I did
watching
watch
more
When
than
Evil
the
Lurks.
rest of us watch.
That's true.
I did watch where evil or when evil lurks.
Oh yeah,
And
please tell us
Oh, yeah.
about that a little bit.
Is it
I
good?
thought it was really hardcore. Like it's not doesn't play around at all.
Yeah, I've heard
Um,
that.
You're
know,
speaking my
there's, like,
language.
I wouldn't say there's like a lot of character development or backstory or lore. So it's sort of like you are not in the know. Everybody else sort of is, and sort of like their actions explain like sort of what's going on. They have like a little bit of conversation around what's going on with the situation. But I mean, I'll tell
Okay.
you, like up front, they find the beginning of the movie, they find this guy who's just this disgusting blob of a man, and they're like trying to figure out what to do with him. And it's like video game-esque, I would say, that where if you like anyway. But man, it
Dude, I
doesn't
gotta
play
go
around.
watch this.
There's some hardcore violence, with children and stuff. That was sort of rough for me to watch.
Oh,
Like,
that
I knew
yeah.
it was coming. I could see, like, I knew it was coming, and then when it came, I was just still like, oh my god, like it was messed up. So,
Man.
but I think like in terms of shock value, it's off the charts, and especially with the children. But in terms of like story and dynamic, it's sort of lacking. I'd say like a 6 maybe. But man, I think any gore hound or anybody who's just really trying to see something crazy shit, like that'll be it.
All right.
I mean, I'm very much interested now.
It's right up your alley, really.
Let's go.
I'd be surprised if you don't like it.
So I when I read your review, it reminded me of that kind of what we talked about with the sadness, I guess. And
I knew that's what you're gonna say.
Very
I knew
much
it
like that. Just
because that's what I was
just
feeling. I was like, "Let's go."
it's just like,
Is
what
it-
is going on?
Is it like that's I'm curious to see how I feel about it because
I would
I've
say the
heard
sadness is a lot more intense in terms of like volume of kills. The
Yeah.
sadness has it, but the
Yeah.
like the kills that happen in this movie, you're just like, oh, dude, that's sick.
yeah.
For a
Okay.
guy that likes Hellraiser, I'm surprised to hear you say stuff like that sometimes. I say
mean,
that, but
yeah.
it likes it as much as you do. It's like your jam. That's a pretty
Yeah.
brutal, world.
I like the, in terms of Hellraiser, I like the idea that there's another dimension, right? And that we sort of are in pursuit of pleasure, and that is our eternal undoing, right? I like that spiritual aspect. And like a lot of these movies don't have that at all. So,
For sure. No, I was just speaking specifically on like the violence where you say like it's a lot. Like if you take that part of it, and it just surprises me that you could watch something as violent as Hellraiser and then be like kind of taken aback by some violence in another movie. I guess is the way I'll say it. Not that it's wrong or right or anything. It was a surprising thing.
Correct analysis. That's spot on. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Well, yeah, it's on Shudder in a few weeks, right?
Yes, that's when I'll probably watch it, which is when it's on Shudder. Last thing I want to say before I go is I just got a notification, and I never thought I'd ever say this about A24, but it says A24 to expand producing more commercial films.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of bums me out, man. Like, I don't generally like run to the theater to see A24 films, but I like that they like were in their own lane doing their own thing. I had respect for that, and I find it a little sad that they're going to go for lean into the Marvel type stuff or whatever it is they're going to do. Yeah, that's what maybe that's what it is. I feel like they're selling out a little bit, but and then
well, we'll see. I mean, I think they're definitely their budgets have gotten bigger and bigger over the last few years. They're definitely chasing money a little bit more than they were before.
Yeah, as long as they don't just throw a bunch of sequels and reboots. And I mean, I would like to think that they at least gonna maybe take some chances and do some weirder things.
Yeah,
that. You know, they may maybe have a little bit more money to throw at it. I mean, obviously they're going to have to be a little smart with their money. They're not going to do, a bunch more Bows and Afraid.
To produce more commercial films. That is like the opposite of what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like I would hope that at least just doesn't lead to remakes and reboots and and stuff like that.
If commercial means more stuff like Everything Everywhere All at Once, I'm cool with that.
Right.
Yeah,
or men.
But Everything Everywhere All at Once wasn't commercial. It was just exceptional, and people couldn't ignore it. Because I had a lot of people at Alamo Drafthouse tell me that was the worst movie they'd ever seen, and I was blown away by that. I've heard that from a lot of people. Yeah. That it was the worst movie I've ever or I hate that movie, or that movie's terrible. And I was like, wait, the one with like the eyeballs and the hot dogs? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, what? I mean, we all like kind of unanimously agreed that movie's freaking great, right?
Yeah, it is. It is kind of, I think, like a kind of film nerds kind of movie that kind of leans into the popular side. Yeah. So, I mean, if you really love remakes and reboots and Marvel movies, it's probably still not going to do much for you.
Yeah, that makes yeah.
They're definitely, I definitely see them getting into more,
butt sex.
Yeah, definitely a lot of butt sex, especially with men.
Men having children.
Oh man,
oh man, and there's 35 dudes that look exactly the same.
But they're definitely getting more like just like more fun movies, I guess. Things like Everything Everywhere or Bodies, and stuff like that.
I thought that movie was like. I liked it, man.
But more like light-hearted stuff.
Yeah,
more
not so like serious.
Yeah.
They don't all need to be Hereditary and et cetera.
I'm fine with stuff like that as long as they're still giving people opportunities to tell original stories and stuff. So we'll see. I think Neon is sort of starting to take their mantle a little bit, but we'll see.
I agree with that. Have you guys seen? I think we did it on the show. Maybe even did y'all see Underwater?
No, I never saw that.
Anything that's got Kristen Stewart in it, isn't it? Kristen Stewart?
Yeah.
I've heard that movie is actually really good.
Oh, bro,
I saw it in the movies.
I saw it in the theater twice, and I own it on 4K. I was so surprised by how good that movie was because I expected nothing from it. I was like, oh, Kristen Stewart, she's probably going to suck. Because I didn't really care much for her.
She doesn't suck.
Not in that movie. She doesn't. Dude, I think that's like the best thing I've ever seen her do personally. And I know she's done some like real highbrow stuff that I didn't watch, but like from what I've seen, this is the best thing I've seen her in. And I was so surprised, and I liked her little buzz cut. I was like, oh shit. But
yeah, it's on my list to check out. Yeah.
Bro, so Bricken watching Alien with me. He's like pretty into it, and I'm like, dude, if you like this. Because he does still kind of like lean into the more modern movie stuff for right now. I'm like, if you like Alien, bro, he's gonna freaking love Underwater, because Underwater, in my opinion, is I like it better than I like Alien.
All right, well, we got to end the show now. Sorry.
Well, listen to what I'm saying there. I'm not saying it's a better movie.
No, for sure.
Later, Hugh. Alien is, the pacing is bounce, so... Like, no, real. Dude, have a good night, man.
Yeah.
Wrapping up. We'll see you later, man.
See ya.
The pacing of Alien is hard because I'm so used to watching so many more movies that are just like they go that when I go back and watch, it's one of the things about 70s movies in general. Now, do I think that like if Underwater is like objective, the thing is that you can't put a value on like what Alien did for movies, because Underwater will never touch that. It just couldn't. Nothing it could ever do would be like, it could be an actually better movie than Alien, and it doesn't matter because it didn't do the kind of stuff that that movie did. So it's kind of hard to compare them, but I really do like to compare them as in like, if you like this, you're probably gonna like this, and you may not love it, but you'll probably like it. And I think Bricken will dig it because I like the aspect of Cthulhu and all that shit. It really resonates with me more so than the science fiction side of things does. Or how do I say this? You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm excited to watch Underwater with him. I really like it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's not a better movie than Alien. That's crazy. Alien's freaking beautiful. Although, as I get older, I'm watching Alien over and over and over now, and I'm seeing like things about it that I do think I like Aliens better than Alien now. I didn't used to think that way. I think I'm leaning into that, and it's for really, really stupid reasons. So
I think most people do. I actually prefer Alien to Aliens, but
you think I'm the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think I'm kind of in the
It's close.
Yeah, I mean, they're both great, but I think I'm in the minority in that.
It's
Josh, you prefer the first one?
No, actually, I prefer Aliens.
Let's go.
Slightly. I mean, I
think it's very slim.
I think they're both 5-star movies, but
yes,
it's like 1A, 1B. Yeah, but I enjoy Aliens a little bit more. I like the Space Marine thing. I have fun with that stuff. I don't know. And it was before Cameron like ran that whole thing into the ground.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I like a lot of the sequels, but there's a couple in there that I don't like much.
With the Alien sequels,
yeah,
I like Alien 3 too.
I like the first 3, and then I like the later ones. There's like a few in the middle that I don't care for.
Yeah, Prometheus, I love. It's flawed, but I love it.
I couldn't believe how much I liked that movie.
Yeah,
I didn't expect to like it at all, to be honest.
Yeah, it gets some hate.
That movie's terrifying.
Yeah, it gets some hate, but I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah,
right.
Way better than Covenant or.
I like Covenant too.
I saw that in the theater and I almost walked out. I thought it was.
Oh, you hated it?
Terrible. Yeah.
You know what movie Bricken really enjoyed that I thought was cool? That I think Bricken's going to have more in common with you guys than he does me. He really likes like he liked Life a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that was a bleak movie. He's like, what does bleak mean? And I told him, he goes, oh yeah, like that movie Life. And I was like, dude, yeah, bro, that was pretty bleak. I was talking about the ending of the thing, and he was trying to ask me like, what does it mean? And I was like, it's just a bleak ending. You don't really know. And he was like, oh, bleak. He's like, what does it mean? And I told him, he's like, oh, kind of like Life. And I couldn't believe he pulled that out of his pocket. I was like, bro, I love you, dude. Freaking man.
Just end on a downer. Yeah.
I love it, bro. It's the way horror movies should be. God damn it. Got crap all over me.
Well, let's wrap it up. We can talk after.
Yeah, for sure.
November next week. We'll see you guys.
Oh
later.
shit, the movie, bro! I was like, what?
Yeah, dude. The movie November.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Randall's like,
you'll be in Vegas.
And then the month November in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Bye. See ya.